Good afternoon, Michael Malice here. Let that be your welcome for the next hour. We have with us a really fun returning guest, fellow shitlord, free speech pioneer, Count Dankula. You know him as the guy who went to jail because his pug did the Roman salute, and now he's a live streamer and Supreme Court Justice. Dank, it's been a year since you've been on the show. Before we get started, we were supposed to be on a couple of weeks. Then you got taken out. What happened? Can you tell us if you're okay?
I am fine. I've got 2 fractured ribs, and I've also got broken cartilage between the ribs as well. I had an amateur fight in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and the guy was a lot bigger than me. I started taking his back, which made him panic, so he just flew back with all of his weight, and because I was taking his back, my elbow was pointed at my own ribs, and when all his weight came down, you heard it pop.
Oh, God.
And I did stop and went, what the fuck was that? But then I thought, oh, I'm actually fine because adrenaline's a thing. And I did the rest of the round, went into the third round, won. And then it wasn't while I was getting changed, I was like, that kind of hurts. And then it wasn't until I was outside, I was like, that's fucking excruciating. I've broken something. I'm going to the fucking hospital. And they x-rayed me, and 2 fractured ribs, and the cartilage between them's fucked as well.
That's interesting you say that, because I did a book with a MMA champion, and he said 2 things. He goes, one is when you're rolling around, it's not the guys who are good that are a problem. It's the guys who are starting out, because they might do something crazy and you're both going to get hurt because they don't realize basically the dance. Yeah. And he also said that when he's in a fight, he doesn't feel anything because the adrenaline. And then when he's taking the shower, he's like, oh, wait, this is on my head. This is going to be bad later. And it only kicks in like way after the fact. I didn't realize it was to that extent. Wow.
Oh, no, I kept going. Like, they were even my opponent was like, you all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. Wow. and then outside, I was like, I am not good. This hurts.
So does it hurt to laugh? I mean, that you're laughing every 2 seconds. That's your whole thing.
Well, the thing is, it's been weeks now, and it's much better already. I'm actually healing at a much faster rate than I thought I would be. But in that exact same week, I caught the flu.
Oh, God. So the cough. Every time you cough?
So the coughing and all that was just horrendous. It was horrible. And then, obviously, anytime I breathe in, anytime I laughed, and even anytime I had to sit up, all that, it was fucking terrible. And, I kept waking up in the middle of the night because, obviously, I'd tried to roll over in my sleep. And then I wake up I'm under my fucking ribs. But I'm much better now. I was doing push-ups today, and then I went, I'm gonna try. I just did fucking 60 push-ups. Nice. And I went, I'm gonna try a sit-up now. I did like half of one and went, nope. I was like, nope, not quite there yet. That was dumb.
I had a big question I've been meaning to ask you for quite some time, and because I don't know what your answer is going to be, and it's this. Last time you were on, and I think about this all the time, I'm a huge fan of the Scottish people. I didn't realize, I just looked it up before we came here, there's only 5.5 million people in Scotland. I mean, there's even a book called How the Scots Have Been the Modern World, from Braveheart and all these other things, Hume, all these, the Industrial Revolution, the impact of the Scots on the rest of the world, especially the Western world, is insane and profound. Maybe you got to have some kind of Ashkenazi in you guys, because it's so disproportionate. I'm woke to the SQ. I'm a noticer now, no question. But what I wanted to ask you, as someone who's understandably a huge patriot of Scotland and Scottish people, this past week, as you've been watching across the pond, as Donald Trump has been the biggest savage outside of some kind of 1930s racist movie, just win after win after win. No, out of nowhere. This is not an unknown commodity. We had 4 years of him. We knew what he was like. I don't know where this is coming from. Is this making you depressed, or is this making you happy, given that all the trajectory on your side of the pond is in the other way?
I mean, it's like a lot of Western culture is downwind from America.
Okay.
Basically, Trump has proven to be extremely popular. He's went and he's banned trans and children, or as I like to call them, Mengele experiments.
Yeah.
He's banned all that. He's actually deployed the army at the border. Things are good, and basically, the grass is always greener, covet thy neighbour and all that. Europe are looking over going, why can't we have that? Why can't we have nice things? And that's going to be reflected in the next elections. You'll
Oh,
see
so
it.
you think this is going to be well? Because kind of like Trump and Brexit went hand in hand. You think this is going to be a big like wake the fuck moment for Europe?
Yeah, see when everybody sees how well America starts to do, people will
Yeah.
start to understand. Oh, maybe that's the bit. Maybe that's the way to run a country.
Yeah,
And hopefully they adopt it. But unfortunately, I know, like you said, loads and loads of inventors and creators and explorers in Scottish history, but we got retarded. we just
you're.
we
By the
just
way,
became stupid.
I reclaim that word, and you're welcome. I was the one on Rogan who used it, and no one had an issue with it. I'm like, it's back, so that's thanks to me. 1 point for
Nice.
the Ashkenazi, 0 for the Scot.
No, but I was like, we turned into a great big nation of complainers. Anytime anything goes wrong, we went, oh, but England. Back in the day, if anything went wrong, we came up with a solution to the problem. But now, whenever anything goes wrong, oh, it's England. Oh, it's the Tories. Oh, it's racist. Oh, like all that is crap. It's
Yeah,
stupid.
when has England not been a problem? And when are you not going to have some problem? What nation is not going to face adversity, even in terms of weather or you're never going to have a utopia. There's always going to be some issue.
Yeah, no, like even though we actually had a fucking hurricane like last
Oh,
week called Hurricane Eowyn, and all the trains, some of the trains are still down. It was some
holy shit!
bullshit. Yeah, a girl that I was seeing got a fucking tree branch through her fucking car window,
Oh my god!
and everyone, yeah, it was fucked up over here.
Are you watching the Traitors, by the way?
No, I'm not watching the Traitors. That's normie stuff. My mum and dad watch that shit. I don't watch
It's
that.
the best. Are you kidding? It takes place in Scotland.
Isn't it like Among Us, but they turned it into a TV show?
We don't have Among Us here. We have werewolves and mafia. It's the
No,
party game.
I meant Among Us. Oh, right, you don't play Among Us. You don't play
Or the board game,
the
the
video
zombie
game.
movie.
The video game.
No. I've watched it. No. I've
It's
watched
weird
it.
you've never heard of Among Us. You don't. Do you have kids?
No, I don't have kids. I've
Oh,
watched the
there
whole
you go.
video game Among Us and the sequel, and I've seen some of the HBO is. No, what the Traitors is, it's a party game, right? Let's suppose you
Yeah.
have a party, 10 people, they close their eyes. The host picks 3 people. Those 3 people are mafia. And now everyone has to pick out the mafia, although no one knows who they are. But the mafia are part of the group who's making these decisions. So every day you vote somebody off, and then you close your eyes and the mafia kills somebody. So the point is you got to get rid of them before they get rid of everybody else. So it's the informed minority versus the informed minority versus the uninformed
It's
majority.
kind of like Town of Salem, where except it's the townspeople versus the witches.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
But the witches are part of the town, right? They don't
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
really know who. So the brilliant is on these shows, you have the normies as the quote unquote faithful, and you have the traitors who are brilliant, and the normies just turn on each other. And you watch this, and you're like, "This is why democracy can't work." It's just it's superb because they're like, "Did you see that? She raised her voice. She must be a traitor." It's like, well, the traitors weren't picked for the people who were loud. They were picked because they're fitting in. You fucking idiots.
There was another interesting thing that was exposed by games like that. Even if you had like 10 people and 2 of them were the werewolves or the traitors or the
Yeah.
killers or whoever, they found out that even with as little as 2, the murderers or traitors or werewolves win overwhelmingly. They
Yeah.
win like 80% of the time.
Yes.
And the reason for, and basically a thing that exposed is an informed minority can totally dominate an
Yes.
uninformed majority.
Yes.
Like,
So
yeah,
it's a great. So I don't know if your parents are watching it on the political level, but
they
it's
will be.
so and people are crying and like, how could you think I was a traitor? And the thing is, when you get voted out, these are the people you're living with, and everyone becomes friends. It feels very high school because, Dank, imagine you sitting with all your friends and they're like, I'm voting you out of the house. And it's like, but I didn't do anything. And you know you didn't do anything. And they're still voting you out. It's so funny.
I would accuse my friends even if I knew for a fact it wasn't them. I would just try and get, yeah, it's him. He
It's
told
so
me
fun.
last night.
It's
I'll
so
swear on a
fun.
Bible.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
fun. I highly recommend. And also, the reason I bring it up is the scenery of the Scottish Highlands is just absolutely, picturesque and beautiful.
Oh yeah, no, the Highlands are amazing. If you're
It
ever
takes
traveling here, go up the west coast, go through Glencoe. It's one of the most beautiful drives you'll ever be on.
Yeah, it takes place in some castle. I think Alan Cumming either lives there or owns it. I don't know what it is. He's the host of the American version, but I highly recommend it. So yeah, well, let's talk about this because I follow European politics a lot, and for people who don't, let me give you guys the rundown of how far Europe is turning toward the right in many ways. I mean, Italy. Moroni, Georgia, something her name is. The first name is
Georgia Maloney.
Georgia Moroni. She's the PM. Before they said, "Oh, Berlusconi, you're a crazy right-wing extremist." And then Matteo Salvini, who was to the right of him, came in, and they're like, "Oh, you're a crazy right-wing extremist." And then the party to the right of him came in and just kept going further and further right, even though she's hardly some kind of radical at this point. But they kept saying fascist, fascist, fascist. There's some ground for that in Italy, but she's in there. Everyone loves her. In Norway right now, the Progressive Party, which are actually the far right, they're first in the polls. In Germany, the AfD, which Elon endorsed, are creeping up. They're like 7 points behind.
They're trying to ban them. The German government's trying to ban the AfD.
They're right behind Merkel's party, and way ahead of the Social Democrats, who are historically the second biggest party. In Austria, the Nationalist Party just came in first, and they're trying to figure out how to keep out of government. It's not working. And since that's happened, the election, they've been up like 8 points in the polls. Geert Wilders came in first in the Netherlands out of nowhere after like 2 decades or something of trying to win. So, and in the UK, Reform, Farage's party, it's now a 3-way tie between him and the Tories and Labour. So, and Marine Le Pen is up by 10 points. If there was an election today, she'd win by 10 points, whereas before she lost by 2-1. So in France, the National Rally. So, to your point, there is a lot of movement, and not to the right in the sense of this kind of, Theresa May would have to make society work for everyone, castrati nonsense, actual nationalism, anti-immigrant, and kind of having a spine to it.
Yeah. No, it's I think the reason for it is a lot of the problems that the right's been trying to address are starting to get just way out of control. And everything, and even the people that were screaming all the praises about diversity and inclusion and all that crap back in the past because they wanted their nice little social brownie points. So everybody, look what a great person I am, and I'm willing to burn my country down to make you think that. Like, basically, I think the problems are even starting affecting them. And basically, social clout doesn't really matter when you're a shining turd on a giant pile of shit.
Right.
Because everything around you is burnt down and you're having to dodge fentanyl needles like on your way to work in the morning. Like, people are starting to go, it basically got that bad that people are starting to swing to the right. Scotland's going to be difficult though. We're famously left wing because we blame everything on the right wing. If anything goes good, it was the left wing. If anything goes bad, it was the right wing.
Yeah. How is Farage viewed in Scotland? Is he regarded as even worse than the Tories?
Not liked, no. Regarded as worse than the Tories, yeah, he is not popular up here at all. It's not to say that nobody up here likes him. There's a lot of people that like him, but like the overwhelming majority just do not like the guy.
So, I mean, do you think the UK is completely screwed till another 4 years?
Under Labour, definitely. Yeah, we're fucked under Labour for the next 4 years. Like, Starmer's already went in, and like I think it was like his first week, he was like, "Oh yeah, we're cutting heating expenses for old age pensioners in a country where famously old people freeze to death in the winter."
Wait, he's cut. Wait.
Yeah, what was it? I forget what it was he done, but he basically cut the benefits towards pensioners' heating bills.
Wait a minute. This is supposed to be like radical Thatcherism, not like left. The left is, you think they give him mansions to the old people and everyone else has to pay for it. He's cutting heat. If I'm an anarchist, but if there's one thing I want government to do, keep old people warm, right? Like, okay, fine. Like, you got me there. Tax me away.
He's done, like, he's just been a fucking idiot all the way in. Like, see, because of the whole Axel Radibicana, or however you say his name, the guy that did the Southport stabbings. Starmer is on TV trying his hardest to swerve the blame onto knives and not insane fucking immigrants coming into the country. And he tried to call him the 2-click killer. He's trying his hardest. Some PR guy's getting him to repeat that over and over to get that to stick because they're trying to blame Amazon because he bought the knife he used from Amazon. So they're basically trying to blame Jeff. Basically, 3 little girls get stabbed. It's the billionaire's fault.
Let me step in here if people don't know. So there's this case in the UK where I think he was the son of migrants, right? Or he was actually born in the UK.
Yeah.
He went, where are the parents from? You remember?
Rwanda, I believe.
Okay. He goes to some school, stabs a bunch of little girls.
It was a Taylor Swift dance class for like little girls that he went to.
Now, I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift, but this is taking my hatred of her a bit too far.
Yeah,
And he
well,
just starts stabbing a bunch of little girls. And then there was this big kind of hand wringing about like, oh, what have we come to as a country? And it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
yeah, but there was a lot of shady stuff that came out about that because it turns out that the reason that the guy's father was able to stay in the country, there was a press embargo on this. I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about this. The reason that the killer's father was allowed to stay in the country originally, way back in the early 2000s, is because a lawyer went to court and actually defended his right to remain in the country. And that lawyer's name was Keir Starmer.
Oh, what? Seriously?
Yeah, Keir Starmer defended that guy's dad back in the day to allow him to remain in the country, which basically means he was one of the dominoes that caused the Southport stabbings.
This sounds like people doubt that we live in a simulation. But
Yeah,
I mean, like, it's like saying that Hillary Clinton was the principal at Sandy Hook. It's like, oh, come
yeah,
on, guys, you're just
it's
being sloppy
fucking
now.
incredible. It's incredible. Yeah, but he's
Holy
trying
crap.
his hardest to distance himself from that, and he's trying his hardest to swerve the blame onto knives. That's what he's trying to do. He's not blaming psychopaths and stuff like that. He's trying to blame knives. It's the same one as like it's these video games that are making our kids worship Satan and like all that other nonsense. It's the same thing.
It's Ozzy Osbourne. We got to ban Black
Yeah,
Sabbath, right? Yeah.
Marilyn Manson. Like yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Folks, for those of you who are small business owners, you got to wear a lot of hats, but admit it, HR is probably the one that you'd rather not wear. There are so many nuances to mention. It's really time consuming. And that's where Bamboo HR comes in. They were very smart. They made me watch their video. And the dashboard is really easy to use, easy to navigate. Everything's there. And you could go between asking for time off, approving things, projects, who's doing what, how far they've gone along, all the click of a button, and all in a very clear and easy to use interface. Bamboo HR is a powerful, flexible, all-in-one HR solution for your growing business. Stop spending countless hours on payroll, tracking time, benefits, performance management. With Bamboo HR, those hours are shaved down to minutes. They've got this AI part. So people have common questions. Instead of having to waste time going to HR, getting the phone, how much time left do I have? How many vacation days do I have left? It'll know how to look it up and to answer things like that. Very smart. Bamboo HR prides itself on being super easy, meaning easy to use, easy to learn, easy to implement, and easy to love. It takes a couple of minutes to check out the free demo and see how nimble and affordable this valuable tool can be. I used to train people on software. This interface could not be beat. They did it perfectly. Reclaim your time. Do what they did. Check out the free demo at bamboohr.com/free demo. See for yourself all that Bamboo HR can do and how affordable it can be too. That's bamboohr.com/free demo, bamboohr.com/free demo. Let's get back to the show. Let's talk a bit about these grooming gangs, because this is something I'm taking partial credit for.
we just recently had a white one.
Oh,
We had a white one. We had a white
equity,
grooming gang.
equity. That's working.
Exactly.
So,
DEI. That was our DEI. Yeah, that was our token grooming gang.
hold on. Because I'm taking my kudos for this. I didn't realize it was partly my responsibility. People had probably heard that in Rotterdam and other places in the UK, you had these grooming gangs of mostly or entirely of Pakistani immigrants or children of immigrants. And I heard this, and I had been under the very naive impression, you hear the term grooming, it's okay. They're finding these high school girls and turning them into their girlfriends, right? That's what the word grooming means. And then someone posted on Twitter a transcript of one of the court records, and it was like an 8-year-old being violated by 3 men simultaneously, or a child who escaped, and the guy caught her. Child, I mean like 10 years old. I don't mean like 16. Hit her in the head with a baseball bat, and then proceeded to violate her with the bat. Things like, and there's like pages and pages and pages. And I quoted it, tweeted, I'm like, I'm so naive. I thought it was just, I'm using the word just very loosely, like teenage girls voluntarily with some boyfriends. Elon saw that, and he replied to it at 4 a.m. on New Year's Day, like 4 hours after the ball dropped. I wake up because I'm like, my mentions are out of control. Like, why is Elon at 4 a.m. on Twitter? And then it became a whole huge scandal again when people were like, how did this get swept on the rug? But
Yeah.
I want to hear the British perspective. I know you're not British, but like the perspective over there, because there was recently a bill on the House of Parliament to be like, let's have an inquiry into what happened here and how this happened. And in
Yeah.
other cities, and Labour all voted to not even look into it.
Yeah, they voted to not have an inquiry at all. And there's a few theories as to why that is. One of them is one of the people that were actually swept up in the grooming gangs was a Labour councillor.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so basically they are concerned about, well, allegedly, big allegedly, uh, there might be Labour MPs that were originally involved in the grooming gangs as well, but they managed to use their power and clout to get off originally. But they know that if there's a neutral third-party inquiry, then their names are going to get shamed publicly, and it will be devastating for the Labour Party. That's the theory. That's the theory.
What's the public excuse as to why not to have an investigation?
What was it? They said something like, "Oh, it's only been done for like racial reasons, and it's not where we should be looking right now. We should be looking for justice for the victims instead. Then have an inquiry, like get all the people that were responsible." By the way, some of the people that were involved in like the Rotherham grooming gang are already out of prison. They're already out of jail.
I don't understand this at all.
It's a difference in culture. That's what it is.
No, I don't understand how the Scots and the British aren't getting knives of their own, 2 clicks of their own.
I know. It's horrendous, and the police were even saying this. It was ignored for so long because they just kind of went, "Oh, this young woman's just sexually active. Leave her alone. She's underage. Do your fucking job." And then they basically were told not to go ahead with some of the investigations because they were worried about being branded as racist, especially when after the investigation they found that these gangs were majority brown men. Yeah, and the reason that they were allowed to do it is if they did it and the reason they did it specifically to white girls is if they did it in their own community, there would be repercussions, whereas white people won't repercuss against the brown man because that's racist.
But they were right.
Yeah.
They were right.
Yeah, totally right.
They picked their target correctly. They're absolutely right.
And also as well as they see white non-Muslims as subhuman as well. So they're just allowed to do that to little girls, apparently.
Well, I'm. Why would you want to have intercourse with something that's subhuman? Like, what does that say about you? Like, if I'm sleeping with a car or with a pig, that doesn't speak well about my.
Well, these are the people that are famous for fucking goats.
Sure, I know, but I'm just saying, like, the logic is amazing. I mean, there's few things that I can't laugh about, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
This is because if it was like resolved and everyone's on like hanging from a lamppost, then I can make the jokes. But this is now, and it's still happening, and everyone, I know you're friends with the trigonometry guys. I was talking to Francis not that long ago. He flew here for New Year's, and he just had this like he snapped. He goes, "The people here want this." He's like, "This isn't being imposed by like Keir Starmer." He's like, "There's plenty of people who want this to continue this trajectory." He's like, "It's like I'm barking. It's like I'm talking to myself." He's like, "It's a wrap."
Yeah, and it's again for the social brownie points. They care more about going, "Yeah, refugees welcome here," and looking like a lovely person. They literally, it's all ego. They care more about how other people view them than they care about their own country and their own society. It's all ego. It's all based on ego.
It's so it's so crazy because the leftists here aren't that bad because there were a bunch of migrants or illegal immigrants. So let me say whatever you want to call it. And I think as Governor Abbott here, governor of our beautiful country of Texas, sent them to Martha's Vineyard, which is this very bougie liberal enclave in Massachusetts. Obama has a house there. And they show up at Martha's Vineyard and all the residents there have signs. They're like, "Get the fuck out."
Yeah.
Like, and they weren't, there was no pretense. They weren't like, they're like, "Yeah, get the fuck out." It was just immediately. So that would have been a position where they could have their brownie points. They didn't pretend. That is so much easier. If I have 60 random Guatemalans in my neighborhood as opposed to grooming gang, I mean, which of these would you rather pick? It's night and day, my God.
Yeah. But it's like, I do think it's quite funny though how, when the migrants get dumped there, everybody want them out. And it's sort of, and again, that's another thing about leftists is they never ever want to be part of the solution to their problem, but it's like, no, that means they have to live among you as well. No, they can live with the poor little right-wingers. Why do the right-wingers keep becoming more and more racist and xenophobic? Like, they're idiots.
It's amazing.
Idiots, yeah.
It's amazing. So I mean, can we talk about this? You said you're public about this. You're going through a divorce. Is that something that is like, how's that? I've never been through one. Is that a nightmare?
I was just annoying with lawyers and shit like that. That's all.
Okay.
Nah, but I'm past it all now.
Okay.
I
Good.
know
Good.
that.
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
What are you mean? Is watching American news this past week been like your porn?
I'm watching a little bit of it. But I did actually do a live stream with a friend during the inauguration and all that. And there was a couple of points of Trump's speech where I can remember going, ugh, bit cringe, but everything everything else was amazing
But
and
I
all that.
mean,
See
after
when he
it,
announced, I'll admit, look, I'm sitting here with my taxation is theft hat on, but see when he said the External Revenue Service, I was like,
I know.
no, wait, let me take the hat off for a second. I was like,
I
that
know.
would be funny. Taxation is theft, but that would be funny. Right? So that's why I was like, I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. But I don't understand. Do you have any theories? I have my own, but I want to hear yours as to what happened to him because he's a boomer, and boomers are pathologically incapable of learning anything.
He's punished Trump. He's been through a lot. You know,
Yeah.
the same way as guys that went to World War I came home different.
Yeah. Right.
Right? Trump's came back different. Yeah. And
It's
it's
full
like
metal.
in a half scary kind of way. So
It's,
yeah.
it's Full Metal Jacket Trump.
That's what it is. He was basically sitting in the toilet like Private Pile. Hello, Biden.
Holy crap!
Full Metal Jacket.
I don't know about full, but certainly a lot.
You walked in the bathroom and I blew him away.
You know it. Everyone knows it. It had to be done. Sometimes you got to do things you don't want, but you got to be done. It's got to be done.
Oh, it's fucking. Oh, it's so. I'm just so happy he's back. But I'll admit, like, I remember when Trump originally won, like, all the way back in 2016, the internet turned into Verdun. Like, that shit was fucking pandemonium. I was online mining salt and annoying everybody. But this time, the leftists, they're still screaming in the usual fucking doomerism posting, but, like, they just seem sad now. They're not like screaming all the time. Yeah, I think a lot of them are even like, we deserve this. We voted a literal retard in that doesn't know what year it is. Like, yeah,
Let's break this down because something's not adding up.
right,
Okay, so they're flipping out. I don't know if you've been following this, people at home. Ever so often, they'll get a little phrase in their heads and they'll take off and run with it. Horse
yeah,
pace was one of these phrases. Horse pace, horse pace, horse pace.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
As if ivermectin is used primarily or exclusively for horses. Even if you're talking about veterinary, it makes no sense. Very fine people. Oh, he said the phrase "very fine people." Inject bleach. You all heard him say it. He said inject bleach. Like they have these little catchphrases, and now they're talking about price of eggs, 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 price of eggs.
It's called
And
the NPC cartridge. You've seen the NPC meme,
yes, of course.
where they take the chip, they
Yeah,
take the
yeah.
microchip out their head and replace it with the next current thing. That's
But
what it is.
what I don't understand, or I have theories, but I'm not 100% certain on. They have things that they should actually be flipping out about. Like they are having these raids, these like German style raids of houses. You are ending DI and things that are supposedly like pro minorities for since Lyndon Johnson, which is the 60s. Like you are firing lots of bureaucrats without asking Congress.
Yeah,
These are things where if I'm a progressive, I would have reason to be upset. Where it's like, holy crap, this guy's really taking us back to the 1950s. And instead it's gotcha, the price of eggs went up. It's just like he's
yeah.
actually taking away your kids and you're complaining about a hangnail. I don't what do you think's happening?
I think it's just because people just go for whatever the easiest thing is
I
because they're
guess.
like, oh, these other things I might need to actually present things like arguments to back up what I'm saying and stuff like that. So they go for like the easiest bullshit. And everyone, but there was one. Did you see the Facebook post? I don't know if this is real. I hope it's real. See, because Trump basically there was two neighbors who didn't get along. One of them's a white American, the other one's a Latino family, and they've hated each other for years. Now he knows that there's a shit ton of like people in the house that shouldn't be in the house, but basically when Trump came in and signed that executive order, they can now be deported. And apparently the guy sat in their front garden laughing like a madman as soon as the executive order was signed and pointing at their house and laughing and all that. And yeah, apparently a lot of them got deported.
Holy
Like,
crap! One
yeah,
of my
be nice
favorite
to your
tweet
neighbors.
one of my favorite tweets of 2017. I just reposted yesterday, and I want to quote it again right now because it's so good. Let me find this right now. Um, okay, this is from Anton Rubiclini. He goes, this is March 2017, right after Trump was inaugurated the first time. He goes, I live in constant fear that Trump will deport my Latina mother-in-law who lives at 1837 3rd Street, Los Angeles, 90023 Blue House. She gets off work at 6.
Oh my fucking god. I mean, that's funny. That's funny.
I I why do you think that like CNN and the New York Times and Rachel Maddow aren't having meltdowns?
I think it's just they feel defeated. They do feel like they've deserved it. Like everybody felt that when Trump won the first time, it was a huge upset. They felt like Hillary was robbed and all this stuff. But this time, like people were just not even. Everyone, you remember the fervor that Hillary had. Like
Of
she had
course.
legions of people out supporting her and stuff like that. Biden couldn't fill a fucking school disco with his fucking rallies and all that shit, and just the wind had just been knocked completely out of everyone's sails. They saw the writing on the wall, and like I think a lot of them knew that Trump was going to win. Whereas 2016, huge surprise, huge
Yeah,
upset,
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Whereas now they're just like, meh,
And
yeah,
in all fairness, she did get millions more votes. Now that doesn't determine who the president is, but it sure determines who has more people behind them. So that
yeah.
is a measure of something.
I Trump
Um,
won in the electoral college.
right, yeah.
Yeah,
So, but this time it was both and by a lot.
yeah.
Um, I was on the what okay, this is what I want to hear from your perspective, your European perspective, because I know you're gonna I'm scared to ask you this question because I think you're just gonna start laughing for a half hour straight. That's going on the show. Okay. Okay, here we go. What are your thoughts about Trump telling the Prime Minister of Denmark that he's serious about acquiring Greenland?
Like I hope it happens. I
No,
do.
but
I do hope it happens. Like people,
no,
what
no,
did you
no.
see?
Wait, you don't know about this?
I do know. I know that he was apparently wanting to annex Greenland.
No, no,
No.
Dank. Oh, I get to tell you this?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was on the phone. It was a 45-minute phone call. And the Prime Minister of Denmark, who's a lady, was furious because she realized he wasn't joking and he actually started being threatening. You didn't know this?
Oh my fucking god, that's
Yes,
hilarious.
the madman did it. He's like, no, 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 this isn't a joke. It's important for our security. What's it going to cost? And I think it was like, we're going to get it nicely or we're going to get it not so nicely.
That's- we're going to take fucking. Oh, that's funny. Man, come on. Like, I think it should be. It should, you know, being moral and everything. We should put it down to a vote to the people of fucking Greenland. However, I think, I think they would.
There was some poll that said, here's the thing though. I did some homework. The people in Greenland hate Denmark. They don't hate it, but they don't want to be part of Denmark. They don't want to be part of the US either. So it's kind of like
Right.
Quebec kind of situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's kind of like, well, you're gonna have to pick one or the other. You know what I mean? Like it's I think it was 6% want to be part of the states. It's a very small number.
Uh, I mean, it'd be funny if they went an independent country. I mean, they'd all starve to death in 2 weeks. But
What's it like?
yeah,
10,000 people there? What's the population? It's got to be. It's tiny.
oh, there's
It
probably more
is
people living on this street than all of fucking Greenland.
Greenland population. Yeah, 56,000 people.
Fucking hell, man. Like
Are
that's
you?
that like I think my hometown has a higher population than that.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's ridiculous. I mean, the climate's not exactly hospitable, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you? How do you know? You're obviously so much more aware of European attitudes. What is the European reaction when you hear the president of the United States is making moves like this, which is kind of unprecedented?
Oh well, me and all my friends find it funny.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, we just laugh. We just find that absolutely fucking hilarious. So, is it? Is he not also having a fight over the Gulf of Mexico? Should be called the Gulf of America as well. Like that's like it sounds like he's just going in and doing these little fuck yous. You know what? I'm just going to start a petty fucking argument over some dumb bullshit, but it turns out being really fucking funny.
There's a clip of on Inauguration Day, and Trump's giving a talk. I forget where it is. It's a room full of VIPs, and he's going through things he's going to do. And he goes, and we're going to rename, Mount Denali back to Mount McKinley, which was what I was always known. Fine, and we're going to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. and Hillary is sitting to his left, like a few chairs away, and she just like bursts out laughing. You know what her
Right.
head? She's like, "All right, okay, this is where we are as a country now. Okay, I give up."
No, but that's funny. I
It
would I
is.
would argue to rename it to something rude.
What, like Gulf of Trump?
The Gulf of Cox or something like that. Like just fucking just something like outrageous, and then Trump just basically goes, "I will go to war. You will recognize this new name. I've got the big red button now. This is my last term. I don't give a fuck."
Folks, are you ready to jumpstart your health in 2025? Because Lumen can help. Lumen's the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. And on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs, and it gives you tailored guidance to improve your nutrition, workout, sleep, and even stress management. All you got to do, breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning. You'll know what's going on with your metabolism, whether you're burning mostly fats or carbs. Then Lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on those measurements. You can also breathe into it before and after workouts or meals, so you know exactly what's going on in your body in real time. And Lumen will give you tips to keep you on top of your health game. Because your metabolism is at the center of everything your body does, optimal metabolic health translates to a bunch of benefits: weight management, energy levels, fitness results, and better sleep. And Lumen gives you recommendations to improve your metabolic health. Folks, you know I'm very serious about my health because I'm a very, very rapidly aging man with little to show for himself. And that's why I think something like Lumen is a great way for you to take control of what's going on in your body with a fun, valuable tool. So take the next step in improving your health. Go to lumen.me/malice. Get 20% off your Lumen. That's lumen.me/malice for 20% off your purchase. And thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring this episode. For your health. Let's get back to the show. What are you most hopeful for that he's going to do next?
I mean, didn't he just freeze all federal funding, but he had to quickly restart it?
I think they froze it in terms of we're going to do a accounting of what's going where, because there's a lot of these grants and it's like 50. I don't even, I only saw the headlines. Like, this is completely uninformed what I'm saying. It was like 50. I saw the headline at first as $50 million for condos in Gaza. I'm like, okay, let's let these people rebuild. And it was $50 million for condoms in Gaza. I'm like, okay, I don't know. And I think it's just basically some kind of accounting money laundering. Like Biden just says, all right, we got to put it for this. It's just, who knows what it's really coming down to. But they're going through everything in the budget and cutting shit and freezing shit. But yeah, I think that was what's going on there.
That was that DOGE department, the
Yes.
Department of Government Efficiency, which I think is a great idea. I think
Of
that's
course.
a fucking excellent idea because so much money's being pissed away on just dumb shit. Like, that's why you're even getting the Pentagon. Like, how did you lose $1.3 trillion? Right. No. That's like, well, you don't just get to shrug your shoulders at that. Like, man, yeah, it's fucking. It's like, I think it's a great idea. That I want to fire more people from the government. I'm seeing lots of people posting, "I've just been fired. I was the diversity and inclusion manager," but there was one post I saw that was a joke post, but it was funny. Well, just been fired from my job at Lockheed Martin. It was my job to put the coexist stickers on the F-35s. I fucking love that. That was fucking amazing.
What I don't know if you saw this, but there was, now I don't know the backstory about this. It might be something more benign, but the ATF, which should be abolished, of course, had a chief DIE officer, and they just changed their title to like senior executive. And Trump set up a snitch line, and the snitch line says, if you know anyone in your organization in the government who is trying to get a workaround around these DI fires, call this number. You will not have to be punished for it. So he set up this whole thing in case they try to do these shenanigans to make sure these people get canned.
That's fucking funny. Snitch on your neighbors.
Yeah, and your coworkers.
Yeah.
How do you think, would there be some room in the UK for some PM to pull something like this?
No, we doing something that drastic would be welcomed, but see, with the way our government works, it is the slowest thing ever. I don't even think we've got the equivalent of executive orders.
Right.
I don't even think we have that. No, any type of change that we have here would be a very slow burn. Trump's came in and nuked so much of it in like the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's came in and just absolutely knocked it out the park. But over here, no, it would be a lot slower.
What I'm really excited about is before I was like, okay, we've seen this guy before. I'll believe it when I see it. If I get Ross out of jail and like three of these things, great. It's wonderful.
Yeah,
He's hitting every single target. Like I've never seen anything like it. What I now am positive about and very excited about is I'm sure he's going to take the fight to the universities. Like I don't
yeah.
know what that's going to look like, but he knows that they are where the poisoning starts. He knows they've got huge endowments that keep them kind of safe from economic
Federal
damage.
funding as well.
Yeah.
I reckon
So,
that's going to be his vector. He's going to pull all federal funding.
well, I heard he's also thinking about pulling any kind of student visas,
Oh,
because these student visas often are like some rich kid from Dubai or something, or Paris. They pay for the full ride or they give money to the school, and then their kid gets to go there. If you cut those, you're really cutting their funding.
yeah, yeah. That's a good point, actually.
So I hear he's going to go with that. That's something I'd be very, very excited about.
I hope that doesn't actually happen over here, though, because at the moment, Chinese exchange students are my hunting ground.
But even your hunting ground, that's a very
Like,
odd choice of words.
bro,
Are you
I'm,
going?
bro,
Are you
I'm
going?
single now.
Oh, I thought you meant like a Cambodia kind of way.
Well, no, not Khmer Rouge, Prison S21. You know, not in that type of way.
Really? You like go for? You like the Asian girls?
I'm a fucking divorced libertarian, Michael. Like,
Oh my god.
I became the final form of libertarian, man. Like, divorced, lots of crypto, Asian girlfriend, right? I fucking hit the trifecta. I'm a level 100 libertarian.
Holy fuck. Yeah, but this is John Galt? This? I don't want to be this Galt no more. I'll go back to New York. Get me on that plane. When I was in London in 2001, I love the accents, obviously. I love yours very well. I saw a girl with Down syndrome who had a British accent. So that Venn diagram was excellent. I took a picture with her. Then I was at a restaurant and it was a Chinese kid who had Down syndrome who was also British. And I'm like, this is the greatest voice I've ever heard in my life.
What does it sound like?
I can't do it.
I didn't hear it.
I can't do it at all. It sounded like the vice president, the former vice president. I can't do the voice at all, but you can only imagine it. It was almost like a series of horns being pressed.
So, like a church organ.
Yes. So I had Melissa Chen, who I'm sure you know, on the show a couple weeks ago, and one thing she talks about is she has a plan in case the cops show up at her door and arrest her for something on social media. You've had that happen for real already.
Yeah.
Is that a concern for you? Are you prepping for this?
No, because I've said wilder shit and done wilder shit since then, and I think the police got that embarrassed with me that I'm kind of like
Okay.
free to get away with a lot. Like, but they are going after other people. Like, you saw everyone that was getting jailed for all their Southport posts and all that. Like, there's political prisoners in jail right now for literally standing and watching a riot and everything. That was in relation to the Southport riots. But with me, I have done wilder shit, and they've never came knocking since then.
One of the most this is a long setup, but this will be of interest to you, hopefully. I'm not a huge fan. I like Brian Kaplan. I disagree with him a lot. One of the points he made once is there's a big asymmetry between like progressives and people who believe in liberty, in the sense that if you or I had to go on the floor of Parliament and give a speech as a Labour MP, we'd be able to do a pretty good job of it. We know what to say. We could pull it off.
Yeah.
If they had to say what we're saying, it would be complete crazy and incomprehensible to us. And the worst example is I've seen, and I'm so glad I get an opportunity to discuss Margaret Thatcher any chance I get. There was this show called The Crown, and it's about Queen Elizabeth, and every season is about a different decade in her life. And one of the seasons was about the 80s and Thatcher is prime minister. And there's this scene where Thatcher becomes PM. She goes to meet the Queen at Buckingham Palace. She bows down very low. And for people who don't know, in the UK, when you're the prime minister, you get to pick your cabinet from members of parliament or whoever you want. So Queen Elizabeth's there, and she's like, okay, let me see if I can guess who you picked. And she goes, let me guess, no women, right? Which was correct. And Thatcher says in the show, no, I don't like working with women. They're too emotional. And it's like, what kind of leftist lunatic could have written this, that you have a politician, any politician, as smart as Alexander the Great, as dumb as Dan Abbott, Republican, Democrat, liberal, who's going to have someone sitting with Queen Elizabeth in Buckingham Palace and telling her to her face, I don't want to work with women, they're too emotional. It was so crazy, but to that point, there was
but she's correct.
But she's correct. But she wouldn't say it. She's a politician. She knows how to be savvy. Yeah. There was this tweet I saw making the rounds. This is amazing in terms of how people don't understand each other, saying all these people on the right who claim that these people are being arrested for tweets or Facebook posts don't understand. They're not being arrested for tweets or Facebook posts. They're being arrested because it's against the law.
That's fucking funny.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, you think we think that the cops are just arresting people for no reason, that it's legal, that he's just Nazi? It's against the law because it's about inciting hate. So it's not just Facebook posts.
I've seen that happen multiple times because so many people, like British people on fucking Twitter, will say something like, well, where do Americans get it from that British people have been arrested over jokes and memes? And I always get tagged in those tweets where everyone's pure going like, oh, you're being summoned and everything. And I'll sometimes be cheeky and reply to the tweet like, hi. And then every single time, the person who posted it will reply going, oh yeah, but of course you went to jail because you did, and it's like they immediately try and justify it. Who's going to prison for memes? Well, here's a bunch of people that went to prison for memes. Well, here's why that was justified. And it's, I've seen that multiple times.
It's the kind of thing that until I saw it, it's hard to kind of reverse engineer the crazy thinking that you would say is with a straight face, and also the shamelessness, because as soon as they say it's never happening, here's examples. Yes, it's happening, but it's a good thing it's happening, like without batting an eye.
Yeah, it's a lot of them are just in denial. A lot of them are just like that. You remember that shithead friend that you had when you were younger, who always had to be right and would make up a lot of bullshit stories about how cool he was? Well, that's one half of the population now, sadly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, no matter what you say, they're right and you're dumb and everything, and it's mostly just to save face. Again, remember, these are some of the most egotistical people you'll ever come across. They would literally rather die than admit being wrong.
Hey folks, Michael Malice here, tolerated author, Twitter asshole, and Sheath underwear model. I love wearing Sheath. I wear it every single day. They're the most comfortable briefs you'll ever wear. Every time you hear my voice, you should know I'm wearing Sheath. And what makes Sheath different is that they have dual pouch technology. They have one pouch for one part of your male anatomy, another pouch for another part of your male anatomy. Sounds weird, but when you put them on, they're going to be super comfortable. They keep you cool in the hot weather, keep you nice and snug in an interview, on a date, doing a podcast, so on and so forth. After you tried Sheath, you're never going back to the other brands. Support the underwear that supports you. Go to sheathunderwear.com, use promo code Malice. You get 20% off. That's sheathunderwear.com, promo code MALICE, 20% off. They've got shirts, they've got hoodies, they've got mesh ones. They have something for you. They also have a girls line, but since women aren't allowed to listen to the show, I can't help you. Sheathunderwear.com, promo code Malice. Let's get back to the show. So do you think people in the UK have their head up their ass more than the Americans do?
Much more.
You're right. Yeah.
Even though, like, basically we need the problems to start getting really bad like they were in America before people start to actually notice that what they're advocating for has got some very, very fucking serious repercussions that will now affect them. That's usually what makes people back off. Oh, wait, the problem is now affecting me? Time to do something about it while hundreds and hundreds of white girls are being raped. Like that type of shit, yeah.
It's the thing. It's I'm sorry to be pedantic. It's not even. It's just raped and tortured. It's even
Yes,
worse than just that.
yeah, even worse than that.
As bad as you think it is, no. Sit down. You thought it was just that. It's much worse than just assault.
I
That
love
is
the memes that
systemic
come out of
abuse.
it as well, though. Like that guy, like that, those little MS Paint memes where it's like, "I'm very, very sorry your daughter was raped by a retarded cannibal, but we need him for the football team."
But I mean, at a certain
Yeah,
point, it is like 4-year-old logic. Like this is something that, like, I mean, it's just very binary. Like, there's things. Okay, should the rich be taxed at higher rates? Well, they can afford it, but that's not fair. We can have these nuanced discussions. Things like
yeah.
this, you don't need to know how to read to be like, this is horrible and wrong.
I had a girl cancel a date with me because I didn't agree with what Luigi Mangione did. I'm not joking. And all that, and like she got really annoyed because in my response I was right. I went, they had a new guy sworn in before his body was even fucking cold. It changed nothing.
Right.
Like, yeah, the medical insurance claim denials will continue. And I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah.
it's a fucking hydra. They'll
Right.
run out of CEOs. You'll run out of bullets before they run out of CEOs.
Right.
And she didn't like that I was right, and she cancelled the date, which is a shame because she was cute, retarded but cute.
What? So you're saying what's Vietnamese?
No, she wasn't. She was
Oh.
white, of course.
That's here's the other thing. What's fascinating about this is because she's ready for the argument, but that it's wrong because killing a person is wrong. You're coming out and goes, oh no, I'm not against the propaganda deed. I'm just saying it's got to work. And now
Yeah,
her brain
exactly.
can't handle it, and she's like, sparks in a robot when you ask a robot to define love.
Yeah, we could have had a whole discussion about there are easier and more effective ways to destroy a corporation.
Yes.
But that discussion will never happen now. It's a shame.
Wait, what app was? Where were you guys having this conversation?
This is on Bumble.
I
Which
had.
is, by the way, see trying to find the one thing that's weird. Everyone's like, "Do you not have problems dating when you're right wing?" No. Lots of liberal women
Oh,
who know who I am and shit like that,
but how
and
you?
want to go on a date with me because I
And
don't know. They get a kick out the Romeo Juliet thing.
I think they also get
Yeah.
some kind of sub. It's a sub or humiliation kink.
Well, I have noticed that those ones, by far, will take you home on the first date.
So
By
I
far.
had something similar happen to me. I matched with a girl. She knew who I was, and she thought it's a catfish. And she's like, "Okay, let's get coffee." And I go, "Oh," and this is true. I go, whenever people recognize me but don't know who I am, I always say I'm the guy who shot up Pulse. That happened to me here at the TSA. It was 3 people at that station where they check your passport kind of thing. And the
Yeah.
guy's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? I love your work." And there's a lady behind him. I go, "Oh," she's like, "Who is he?" I go, "I'm the guy who shot up Pulse." And he laughed and waved me through. And she's looked confused. She replies with, "Dude, what?" Like 8 question marks, exclamation points.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, all right, I blew this one. So I just replied, "Wait, was it you?" On that. And it's like, if you know who I am, you know my sense of humor. What the hell are you doing here?
Yeah. There's one that I do to fans. I've done it a few times. It's a shitty thing to do, but I can't help it. It's funny as fuck. It only works if the person's with their girlfriend, right? I've had so many guys come up to me in the street and go, "Oh my god, Count Dankula, oh my god, I love your videos, blah blah blah," and their girlfriend's looking like, "Who the fuck's this?" Like 99 times out of 100, their girlfriend has no idea who I am and everything. And then sometimes the girl will turn around and go, "Oh, what is it you do?" And I'll go, "Oh, I make porn." Right? And that's when the guy immediately panics and goes, "Oh, no, he's a comedian, he makes YouTube videos," right? And then just to be extra shitty, I'll go like, yeah, I make YouTube videos and stand-up comedy. It's such a shitty thing to do because the amount of times when I'm like, I make porn, that the girls actually shot the guy like an angry look.
Oh my god!
And as if like you came up to get a selfie with a porn star in public, like type thing. It's so funny. So see from now on, if that happens and he's got a girl with him and she doesn't know, do it. It's so funny.
Holy crap!
Because I know I've caused multiple arguments, possibly a breakup. We're doing that shit.
None of my fans have a girlfriend, so that's not going to happen to me. But the one thing that did happen, which was really fun, and I can relate to this from the other perspective. I'm at the gym and there was a dude wearing one of my Governor's to Gitmo shirts. And I walked up to him like, hey, and he stops and he puts his hand in the squat rack to catch his breath. He goes, hold on a minute. Because for him, the Matrix was breaking.
Yeah.
Like I came on the computer and he's like, oh shit, okay, aliens are real. It was really, really fun. Good dude. When's the last time you've been to the States?
Jesus, I think the last time I was there was 2019. So it's been a while. It's been a good while since I've been back.
Aren't you tempted to come here and not, especially now that the Great White Hope is back in the White House, and see what real freedom?
I'll come for a visit. I do want to come back. I actually had like a mini tour planned again this year, but some things happened, so
Yeah.
I've had to put the kibosh on that for the time being.
Well, come here. I mean, I'd love to take you to the mothership. We'd have a great time here in Austin. It's just really, just absolutely wonderful.
Oh no, I would definitely do that. I've definitely come to Austin because I want to see Big Alex again.
He blew me off. He's supposed to be on the show. I was messaging him, and then he just stopped replying. And right behind me, behind that door, is his tinfoil hat on the wall.
Really?
Yeah,
I
and
got him to make a tinfoil hat when I never actually asked him. He just did it on his own when I visited him in the meme bunker known as Infowars.
Yeah.
I love him. I miss him. I've not talked to him in a wee while. He used to send me schizophrenic texts at like 4 a.m. and everything. Like, yeah. Like, they're practicing cloning so that they can clone adrenochrome glands. And I'm like, okay, Alex, it's 4 in the
You're
morning.
dead.
I'm just in bed, like, what?
my rib. Oh, my ribs.
You free for a call? No, Alex. I'm in my bed.
Folks, head over to malice.locals.com where Dankula took questions from supporting listeners. You converted recently to Orthodox Christianity, yeah?
Yeah, I'm trying not to talk about it too much or be public about it because I don't want to do a whole fucking Russell Brand.
Well, it's on your Wikipedia.
Really? I haven't checked my Wikipedia. I've managed to get my Wikipedia locked multiple times because I keep sending people from my Discord to go and write a bunch of bullshit on there and get it included. Like there was one for 5 months. They never noticed this. Someone went on and changed my name on my Wikipedia to known aliases Daddy Big Milk, right? And that was on there because there was so much vandalism and they undid it all. They forgot about that one little bit, and that got left on the wiki page for 5 months.
Oh wow! And therefore made it true, kind of in a sense, because now that is a known alias. Well, I respect you. I think it's if people find their faith, I think that's absolutely wonderful. And if you don't want to talk about that, that's perfectly fine. And in fact,
no, it's like I'll talk about like the gist of it and stuff like that. It was just basically Catholics and Protestants, you probably know, over in Scotland and especially Ireland, that conflict there, and a lot of it ends up becoming mostly about the drama between the churches and us versus them and all that type of stuff, and I don't want any involvement in any of that. The reason I've got no interest in football is because of the religious sectarianism that was going on around it with Celtic and Rangers and stuff like that. But also either church has very, very spotty histories, huge scandals, all that stuff that I just didn't want to be associated with. I just basically went, like, I just want Christ and that's it. Like, I don't want any drama, I don't want any nonsense, I just want Christ. And basically the best church for that was the Orthodox Church.
I think that's great when dads find faith, because then it makes them such better dads, and they kind of have this long view about like, okay, there's something, not that you weren't taking it seriously before, but it really puts a different perspective on fatherhood.
No, it does. I mean, it basically gives you that little extra kick up the arse to be a better person.
And the thing that I admire a lot about Christians is people who are like not just culturally Christian, who actually take it seriously. Christians understand better than non-Christians or non-religious people that evil exists and is a force in this world. And it's not just like, oh, someone's corrupt. You know, Hunter Biden's corrupt. Who cares? If Hunter Biden was the worst thing that happened, we'd be in a paradise. The levels of depravity, as we just talked about earlier, are so much more demonic and satanic. It's something that regular people get over their heads.
No, there is definitely complete evil out there. Like, I've been talking for ages about demons because someone said something to me that terrified the absolute shit out of me. He basically went, have you ever seen like videos of the protesters arguing?
No.
Basically, where they look like they're crazy, like they look like
Oh
they're
yeah,
on
yeah.
drugs, they're just dead behind the eyes. And he says that's what's called an egregore. It's a
Oh yeah,
demon
yeah.
that exists as an idea. And he went, so remember, when you're arguing with them, you're not arguing with them, you're arguing with it.
Yes,
And
yeah.
that scared the shit out of me, and I've seen it everywhere.
Do you know
Even
how,
with people that I know who are genuine, they're like shitty people. Genuine, like shitty people that I know. They've been shitheads their entire lives that I've knew them. And I started noticing it with them, and I was like, holy fuck. I was like, oh, and it just scared me.
do you know what I
Yeah.
call it? I say it's one mind in many persons.
Yeah. An egregore. That's essentially what an egregore is.
Yeah. And
Fucking
again,
scary shit.
once you see it, you can't unsee it. The other thing that it's because they will say the same exact things verbatim. If you or I were supposed to praise Trump or criticize him, we might say the same topics, but we wouldn't word it the same. They word things in verbatim the same language, and that's how you know
Yeah.
it's one mind in several persons.
Yeah. And it's fucking, I just don't like. That's why I don't do debates anymore. I don't
Right.
debate them anymore. No.
I would so much. I've had several discussions in the show, and I say, if you're debating, I want to look at the truth. If I'm wrong and you prove me wrong, that means I'm closer to truth. Great, I've learned something. Whereas these stupid debates were just scoring points, and you're just trying to make a sport out of it when lives are at stake. To me, it's just cheap and it's entertaining, sure, but it's not the kind of entertainment I want to spend my time doing.
I love watching them argue with like Charlie Kirk and stuff like that because a lot of them just immediately go to insults, and one of them that I was laughing at is they did their usual back and forth, and then Charlie won, obviously, because this is some fucking 20-year-old student
Right.
who has no idea how the world actually works. And at the end of it, the student just yells into the microphone, "Fuck you, your face is small," and then like walks away. And in my mind, that student won the argument just for that.
It's like Magic the Gathering. They got that Trump card at the end. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, no defense. Oh my
Oh
god.
no, it's just honestly hilarious. I love watching them because you see, this is the thing is like the thing's devious, but it's not very smart.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. When people are blackpilling, I'm like, look who you're up against. You're telling me that Keir Starmer's some unstoppable foe? It's like, or even a Stalin figure. What are you talking? He's a buffoon.
You're blackpilling. Trump is sending all the extra IRS agents to the border, and you're blackpilling.
Right, right. I'm so glad that that's become a meme. That
Yeah.
making fun of black-pilled people are like, here's this one, because to defeat the black pill, you just need one data point. If one good thing is happening, that's proof that more good things can happen, probably. So it's just like you're black-pilling, and Trump just ended DI overnight.
Yeah. Fucking and they're all running and hiding and changing their job titles
I know.
and everything. And it's like I've already seen the memes of Colonel Hans Lander going, "You are hiding a culture and diversity officer underneath your floor, and you're not. You are harboring enemies of the state, and you're not."
Great. It's so, but the thing is,
And what was the other one? It went, "I can judge by the lack of sound that they do not speak sense." It's like, it's good. But that's the thing is, all that crap is an enormous waste of money, and they're all making like six figures. They're all making six figures, and it's basically what is their job to go around and yell at things for not being black enough or something. It's just the dumbest job that we ever created.
My friend had, I don't want to give his name, had this brilliant hypothesis about the election. And I want to hear your thoughts. He said, I think a lot of very powerful white men and women at the top of the Democratic Party got sick of being yelled at by fat they thems about how bad life is and how they need to accommodate them and that they need to bend the knee. And at a certain point, they're like, you know what, fuck you. And that they sat on their hands, and that's why they're being quiet about what he's doing right now, when he's undermining what they said was the central basis of America.
There was even the theory that Jill Biden had voted for Trump.
Jill
Did you hear
did.
about that one?
Jill
What?
did. Did you see Jill?
Yeah, Jill Biden. She even wore like a red dress.
Well, red.
And stuff like that. Yeah.
A red pantsuit. Yeah.
It's
There's
fucking-
no way. I think Joe just wrote in his own name, to be honest.
Yeah, he probably did.
But she voted for him.
Is it me again? Wrong pop.
Do you know what else is funny? And we'll close on this. In the same way that COVID red pilled a lot of people because
Yeah.
things just weren't making sense. And you don't have to be Republican, Democrat, right or left to be like, this isn't adding up.
Yeah.
How is like if I'm in an elevator with you and we're breathing the same air? What are you talking about? I'm not
Yeah.
going to be in an elevator with someone with a hacking flu. That's crazy. What was that? I think. Do you agree or do you think? Because Charlemagne is radio host Charlemagne. He's a rapper, I think, as well. Maybe I'm just being racist. He was on his show, the Morning Breakfast Club, and he's like, "How is it Obama is spending years saying Trump is Hitler and a threat to democracy, and the next day, and then he's at the funeral and they're fucking cracking jokes with each other." He's like, "You're full of shit." Do you think some people, moderates or leftists, got woken up that a lot of this Democratic shit was just bullshit?
I think they did as well, and especially the assassination proved that when you had places like CNN and all that as well going, we wish him a very speedy recovery. And it's like, no. You don't get to say that this guy's a literal genocidal, uber, ultra, mega Hitler for like 4 years and then wish him a speedy recovery. You don't get to do that, right? Like, he's either the most diabolical thing that needs to be put against the wall and shot, or he's just a regular fucking right-wing president.
Yeah.
Because when you think about Trump, he is not that radical. He's not that radical at all. Like, look at the 60s, 70s, and 80s. He's not as radical as the others.
Oh, yeah, sure. But I mean, until this week.
Until this week.
I mean,
taking Greenland. I want to see the penguins, bro.
That's the one. I would have agreed with you until he's on the phone. He goes, "Look, here's the deal. We're America. You're Denmark. Can't even find you on the map. You're like a little asterisk. So we could take it nicely, or I don't got to be so nice."
Do you have nukes? You don't even have plumbing.
Dank, it's always a pleasure to catch up. We're running out of time. What has been your favorite part of this interview?
The Trump impressions. I was enjoying those.
You are welcome.
Hey, it's Adam Carolla.
And this is Dr. Drew. We're back doing our podcast 3 times a week, talking about current events, health news, and more.
So, if you miss us on Loveline, check out the Adam and Dr. Drew show. New episodes Wednesday through Friday, available wherever you find finer podcasts.